In this video, we're going to start your lesson on trigonometry, but I wanted to see first how much stuff you actually recognized before I went on here. Alright, let's start with this. First of all, obviously you know this is a circle, and this came from Euclid Book 1, proposition number 1. Okay? And you should by now recognize that if you have a point here, which is D, and it's touching the circumference of the circle, and you have this point A, and you have a line segment DA, and A is the center of this circle, then line segment DA is a radius of the circle. Okay? Also, the radius AB is a radius of the circle. But let's say we extend DA out to here. Well, now you've got the diameter of the circle. So, you should already know that this is the diameter of the circle, this is a radius of the circle, this is also the radius of the circle. And this line here is equal in size to this line here. And you should know all of this because at the very beginning of Euclid's Elements, I talked about all this. I talked about diameter. I talked about radius. I talked about how all radii of a circle are equal. I talked about all this. But if you didn't know all that, you should go back. Okay? Now, you should have noticed something else. This DA actually extends out past the circumference of the circle going this direction. It also extends out in this direction. So, this whole line here, extending past the circumference in either direction, is a secant line. If you don't know what that is, you need to go back a few videos and check that out. Now, you should also notice one other thing. You have a line here, it starts at B, goes to C, keeps right on going this way, comes right down here this way, and this whole line touches this circle at exactly 1 point. Now, do you remember what that line is called when a line touches a curve at exactly 1 point? If you don't, you need to go back, because you see that's the tangent to a curve. This is a curve, it's a circular curve. This is the tangent of that curve, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go back and find out. Now, let's see what else you've realized here. You have a triangle right here. Well, shoot, the first few Euclid proofs talked about triangles. But if you go to Euclid Book 1, proposition number 47, you also find out that this triangle here is a right-angled triangle. And because it's a right-angled triangle, it has an acute angle right over here. Okay? And I talked about all this in a bunch of previous videos. The right-angled triangle was talked about in Euclid Book 1, proposition number 47, which was the Pythagorean theorem. But of course, you don't remember that because you didn't watch that video, right? Well, you should have. So all of this should be known to you by now, before we even go on with our discussion of trigonometry. Alright, I'm going to cover the rest of this in a future video. If you don't know all the things that I just told you right now, you should go back to all those previous videos and restudy all that material, because you should know all of this by now. The only way you're ever going to understand trigonometry is to know everything I just told you and to know what I'm about to tell you next. Okay? So, go back, study, then come back and go to the next lesson. I'll tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.